Clube Social apresenta o Corre do Xamã. Vendendo amendoim na rua ou rimando na batalha, sua história é feita de vários corres. E para não parar, Clube Social sempre foi seu parceiro. Clique e confira a nova versão da música Dias de Luta, Dias de Glória com Xamã por Clube Social. Clube Social, partiu para não parar.
Vamos aproveitar o intervalo do seu podcast para falar sobre K-pop. Preciso contar uma coisa para vocês.
Que você faz dancinha no TikTok. Ah, isso não vai me surpreender.
Mas o menu exclusivo do Mac com personagens do BT21 vai. Tem o novo Mac Crispy Chicken Cajun, molho Sweet Chili e Cajun e os personagens BT21 para você levar para casa.
Opa, depois do programa eu vou lá no app pedir, porque eu vi que os combos estão com frete grátis, né?
Clica aí no banner e pede agora mesmo. É por tempo limitado. Vai!
I admit I did buy everybody drinks, but like Snapples, Red Bulls, all the team, because it takes hours.
Right. Did you buy tequila?
I didn't buy tequila. You can't drink.
Oh, no, I can drink. I don't know what you're talking. I don't want the tattoo artist to drink. I can drink.
This is the plaintiff, Diego Rosales. He says he went to the defendant's tattoo parlor for a tattoo of the soccer player Messi. And when the tattoo was done and healed, Messi's face was a mess. It looked like he was in a car accident or something. His arm became infected, and now he has a big ugly mess on his forearm. He's suing for $4,969 because he needs to have this ugly thing removed from his arm. This is the defendant, Jose Luis Rios. He says the plaintiff brought a bottle of tequila to his tattoo appointment, and he and the artist got a little drunk during the session. When he looked at the finished product, the bottom half of the tattoo looked great, but by the time the face was finished, they were both drunk, and he admits it didn't come out too good. He offered to fix it himself. The guy demanded all this money back, so here they are. He's accused of a messy tattoo.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Rosales, what brings you here?
Yes, ma'am. So on August 17, I wanted a tattoo of my favorite player, Messi, and I actually
Leo Messi?
looked it up. Yeah,
Argentinian soccer player.
Yes, ma'am. So I looked it up and I called this tattoo shop, One Way Tattoo, and Mr. Rios picked up the phone, and I have several other tattoos that I've done to my arm. So Mr. Rios said, yeah, come in. We have no appointments. Come in. I got there. He was polite.
Did you come in that very moment?
Like maybe an hour later.
Oh, okay. And then if you have other tattoos, I presume you have other tattoo artists. Why were you picking someone new?
The thing is that my previous artist, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. All right. So now, how did you get the defendant's name to begin with?
Oh, well, my mom works around that area, and I always looked at that place and I looked up the reviews.
Okay.
And I like I said, I always ask. I mean, nobody's perfect. I understand that.
Right.
And I asked him, and like I said, when I got there in person, an hour later, he was a polite guy. He's like, yeah, we'll do the job. Nice guy. I'll have this guy for you. He's really good. I said, are you sure? Yes. We went from there, and then it turned out to be like a mess.
Okay, and what happened?
Well, the thing is that I was sitting down and my arm has to be basically on the left, and I really can't see because he's doing the artist.
Uh-huh.
After hours, he was taking breaks, but it was just turning purple. I really can't see the face. I kept asking, I take usually pictures and I keep asking how is it going. He kept saying, oh, it's coming out great. It's coming good. I took some breaks. I admit I did buy everybody drinks, but like Snapples, Red Bulls, all the team, because it takes hours.
Right. Did you buy tequila?
I didn't buy tequila. You can't drink.
Well, no, I can drink. I don't know what you're talking. I don't want the tattoo artist to drink. I can drink, but
oh no, well, yeah, well, like I said, I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't put the artist in that situation.
Okay, so did you buy alcoholic beverages?
For myself, I did.
Okay, and then you're seeing the job while it's being done, right? I
really can't see because the arm is just right here.
Well, what about when you take breaks? All these breaks you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I could see the job, but like I said, it's not fully done.
Right.
First, you have to do the trays.
So when it got done, were you happy with it?
No, because the thing is that at the end of the day, they put a plastic wrap.
Okay.
To heal, allegedly, and to let it rest. And I trusted the guy. 30 minutes later, when I'm in the road... You
trusted the guy. Why can't you look at the arm before he puts the thing on or take a picture and look at the picture? I mean, you could do that. But in any event, you go home, and within an hour, what do?
Half an hour when I'm in the road going home, I unwrapped it because it was just itching too much, and it was just something abnormal from my previous tattoos. And I see the face like really bad, and I'm like, no, this is not right. And I see the whole body, everything just messed up, and eventually it turned just purple, and I ended up in the hospital because of a blood clot on the arm.
You ended up in the hospital because of a blood clot?
Well, I couldn't bend my arm. I could not bend my arm.
Do you have hospital records?
I actually went to the, what's it called? The urgent care.
Okay, do you have those records?
I have them, but not with me right now.
Oh, well, okay. All right, so now you call Mr. Rios, because it's not Mr. Rios who did the tattoo, right?
Right, but it's a cell phone that I usually call or text, and everybody has the phone.
Okay.
I find out.
So you call Mr. Rios. Do you talk to Mr. Rios?
I did talk to him twice.
And then what does he tell you?
First excuse was the pandemic, and I said, okay, that's fine.
What do you mean? Wait. When you tell him you're unhappy, what does he say?
Oh, he says, oh, no problem. I was nice to him. We were actually, have a civilized conversation. He did agree to pay back, but he insisted to fix it.
Okay.
He insisted. I said, no.
Did you get your $500 back?
No.
Okay. And you say he insisted to fix it. What do you mean? He said, let me fix it for you. Himself, meaning?
Right. I believe so.
Did you ever make an appointment to fix it?
Right. I made 4 appointments, and the last appointment was in December.
Wait, and the first appointment, what happened?
On the first appointment, they said, oh, we can't make it. We're too full. We're too busy. We don't do redos right now. Let's try the next week.
Okay. Is this verbally or by text?
It was verbally.
Then what happens in the second appointment?
He said that it was the pandemic, ma'am.
When you say he says it was the pandemic, when did you get the original tattoo?
In August 17.
So, right, but of 2021.
Right.
Right. So when you say in the first one he says there's a pandemic, meaning what? That people had COVID who were the tattoo artists?
Everything was really extremely strict here.
Okay.
And,
so there had been a closing or something?
Right.
Okay, I got it. So then the third one, what happens?
He texts me, but he texts me on that one. And
Do you have the text?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then he tells you, this is in September, and he tells you what?
He tells me then let's try next Thursday.
Because you're saying, good afternoon, tomorrow, for sure I'll be there around 11. I won't fail. Was there a time you missed?
No.
Okay. Because that's no fallo is kind of a saying in Spanish when you're saying, you might have missed something, right?
No fallo means I won't fail.
Right, I know, but there's no need. That doesn't need saying unless you failed before. Don't worry, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to be there. So you never missed any appointment is your testimony, correct?
No.
Then in December, is this you scheduling the appointment? I'll come Thursday, please, Louis.
Yes.
And then the answer is, I guess, from someone else, Louis isn't here.
Right, and he says, come over.
Come on Thursday.
Right.
So do you go on Thursday?
I go on Thursday, and then there was 2 gentlemen there, and they tell me, oh, it's you, the guy with the Messi tattoo. And I said, yeah, it's me. Oh, okay, yeah, well, right now we're booked. And I was frustrated. I'm like, wow, you guys are serious?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're sorry. And then my grandpa passed away, so I asked him, it was December, and I wanted to give kind of like a gift to my father. And I said, you know what, can you guys do a lettering? And that's a picture right there.
So you actually did another tattoo there that day?
Yeah, I still even give him another try. Yeah, just a lettering, those letterings on my chest.
Which says, el que dedica su vida para el bien. It's cut off, so I can't see it.
Those are my grandfather's words. Yeah, el que dedica su vida para el bien, nunca muere, siempre vivirá.
He who dedicates his life to doing good never dies, always lives. Okay. And did they charge you for that tattoo?
Yes, they charged me $200.
All right, so you pay the tattoo, and it sounds like you're still happy with them because you're having them do another tattoo. When do you make any effort after that December date to get Mr. Rios to pay attention?
No, then after that, when I finished the tattoo, the guy wasn't there who originally did it. So I asked him, hey, bro, I want to set up the appointment for my fix. Then they came with an attitude. They're like, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I don't do redos. How about you?
Who said that?
Some other two artists that were at the shop when they did this tattoo.
But they're not supposed to do the redo. Rios is supposed to do the redo, right? He's the owner, right?
Right, but he's never there. So I'm like, as long as they take
Mr. Rios, what's going on?
Mr. Rosales is lying. I'm sorry to say. I didn't. It's lying. It's lying for. It wasn't for appointments. It was 2. I believe it was on Tuesday, but he never called me. He never showed up. And like a month after, he said he had a COVID. That's the reason he couldn't.
Do you have any texts where he tells you that he can't make an appointment?
Yes, I actually have that.
I don't have any text from you. Did you submit the text to the court?
I apologize. I don't miss, but I can show. I
can't read that. How am I going to read that? Put it up to the screen. Let me see what I can do.
I show it right now.
Put it up to the screen. Point to any text where he fails to appear. You said, he texted that he had COVID. Show me that text. Point just to that text and bring it
Absolutely.
up to the.
I'll show it to you, Rick. Oh, here.
Ok, buenas tardes, Luis. Llego el jueves a verlo sobre me enfermé de COVID. Yes, I had COVID, but I have recuperated. So apparently, you missed an appointment too, and you were not being truthful about that.
He called me a month after the appointment. I was waiting for him that day, and I insist him I wanted to fix it, and I returned his money, and I gave him his money back. Cash.
Did you get a receipt?
No, I gave it.
Why would you give a guy cash without getting a receipt?
Because I was too busy working. And
then you're too busy to give the $500. If you have time to do this, you have time to say, I hereby acknowledge getting $500. That takes 2 seconds. Did he return your $500, Mr. Rosales?
No, ma'am.
Watch that. So now, let's discuss the tattoo. I want you to lift your arm, Mr. Rosales, and let me see the tattoo.
Oh, yes. So...
So it's like the bottom looks good, and then the top is just not even...
No, not even close. I submitted pictures as well.
Yeah. Oy. This is pretty bad, right, Mr. Rios?
It is pretty bad, Mrs. Joner.
Yeah. Did you, does this tattoo artist still work for you?
No. I didn't fire him at the next day, but I asked him to take certain class in order to fix the tattoo and to fix this. He's not supposed to be drinking at the store.
No, was your tattoo artist drinking?
Yes, Mr. Rosales took a bottle of tequila.
That doesn't mean your tattoo artist has to drink.
Yes.
Did you see him drinking?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you should stop him from drinking.
I tried, but they both were too getting along very well.
So you decided not to. You didn't try. You decided not to.
I didn't want to break his. I didn't want to break the party they have at that moment.
Oh, how'd that go? How'd that go? Now you find yourself in a lawsuit. How did it go to not have time to write a receipt and not exercise your obligation as the owner of the store and saying, you don't drink?
He's not supposed to be drinking, so he can be conscious and see what he's getting. He can be.
So why didn't you stop the whole thing if it's so dangerous?
Well, because when I went back to the store at 5 around 6 p.m. They already were have ways of tattoo and have ways of. I can say that they had already.
Could you see that it was going poorly? The real answer is because he hasn't complained yet, because it hasn't become a problem yet. Because maybe he looks at it and says, oh, that's awesome, you caught the spirit, and then everybody can just move on with their lives. But he complained. I don't believe you totally, Mr. Rosales, when you claim that you kept making appointments and they kept, kicking the can down the road. I see where you failed to come to appointments too. I don't know why, if you were eager to get it fixed, I don't know why it didn't happen. But I wouldn't put all of the blame on him on it if there's times that you missed and just blew it off too. But at the end of the day, here's where we are. There's a really bad tattoo, and he wants it off now. He no longer wants somebody to fix it. Right? What is it you want? Let me ask you, Mr. Rosales, face to face right now. Do you want me to set a time for him to fix it, or are you just done with this?
I'm done with this, man. Yeah. It's not about the money. It's just emotional stress. People laugh at me every time I show. I mean, it's a big icon for me. It's in my body for life. It's not something petty, It's something big that I paid for and I want it.
So you're actually going to remove it?
I want to remove it. Yes, I want to remove it.
All right, we're done. If it's a shame that it didn't work out. It would have been better if it had. It would have been better if everybody had hustled right away to get a new appointment and that everybody attended instead of everybody just being real lax about it. Because now we're in the position where he doesn't want you to fix it. He wants his money to get it removed, which is a lot more than the $500, and I deduct from that the $500 that you gave him already if you could prove it, but you can't. So I am ordering $3,719. I'm not adding wages. I'm not. No, I am adding the $500 that you paid for the tattoo. He has evidence of what it'll cost to remove it. It's always infinitely more expensive to remove it. I'm adding to that the $500 that you cannot prove that you paid him. And I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $4,219. That is my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wow, the plaintiff prevails to this in this lawsuit. He's going to get over $4,200 from the defendant. Mr. Rios, what's your reaction? What are you thinking?
I did my best, right now I try to just make Mr. Rosales happy. I take the responsibility just because I know.
You do? All right. I think you've probably learned a lesson from this, especially having your tattoo artist drinking while they're doing work, right?
We want to change that. We want to try to take actions on.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a hard lesson for you, but anyway, it's a good lesson for you to learn at some point here. Mr. Rosales, let me ask you something. You got a picture of this famed soccer artist on the underside of your arm where nobody's going to see it, really, unless you hold your arm up high so they can get a peek at it. Why'd you want it there?
I really didn't care what it was. It's actually meant for me. I love soccer. I love Messi. It's not for the people. It's for me. But hey, I live in LA. There's no parking. There's the only parking I could find on my arm.
You're running out of... I assume you have a lot of other tattoos. Am I right?
I sure do. I have my daughter, Camila, and the Patriots fans, and yeah, I do. But like I said, it's the only parking spot there was. So you're going to have it removed now? You're going to get the money? You're going to do that? Sure will.
Get rid of it?
I sure will. Get rid of it completely.
All right. Okay, well, good luck to you. I hope it looks all right when it's removed.
Doug, there are a lot of subjective things that go on in court, and this is one where the judge has to evaluate the tattoo, look at it, and say, is this a competent job? But if you are a litigant, bringing an expert in, that really helps.
How do you find a runaway father that pays no child support and doesn't see his kids? Left my daughter with the house, bills, and 2 kids, and now she lost her job. They can't find him. mortgage, insurance, bills, food, all in her lap. And we're helping her as much as we can, but we both just retired. She needs help. Any suggestions?
To find a runaway parent who's not paying child support, you can use skip tracing services, which for a fee will try to find somebody. But a lot of times local district attorneys or state attorneys' offices will have a child support enforcement team.
Right. That's your first step, is to find out if your state or county has a child support enforcement team, because then you have their resource. That's free, and you have their resources tracking them down, looking at credit cards.
Federal, state, and local resource to try to find them, and you wouldn't believe the stuff they can do once they do find them to mess with them until the money gets paid. Yeah. They can lose their driver's license. They can be ineligible for a U.S. passport. They can have lottery winnings intercepted before they can collect them. In Florida, I think it's over $600. And it goes on and on. I mean, there are a myriad of ways. The tax refund check that people get at the end of the
intercepted.
year, they can intercept that. They get ahead of these things so that the money's coming back.
Right. So step one is to find out if law enforcement in your city, town, state gets involved in that.
This is the plaintiff, Ashley Ray. She says the defendant is her neighbor, and in the middle of filming a TikTok video, the defendant's dog attacked her dog. The whole thing's on video. The rude woman refuses to compensate her for all she and her dog have been through, and she's suing for the $2,000 she surely owed. This is the defendant, Tamika Klein. She says the plaintiff's dog was off leash, for crying out loud, and this woman is suing her? Come on. The woman wasn't taking care of her dog. Her sister was filming a TikTok, and there's no way she's responsible for what happened. She's accused of having vicious propensities.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that her sister was making a TikTok video when suddenly the defendant's Pitbull viciously attacked her dog. But the defendant says that the plaintiff's dog was off leash and she wasn't caring for it. It's the case of a TikTok croc.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Ms. Ray, you are suing your neighbor, Ms. Klein, for $2,000 that you say she owes you because her dog attacked your dog. Tell me what happened.
So on March 14, I was at work, and my sister and my mom called me telling me that Benji got attacked. So at the time, I work an hour away from my house, and they're like, oh, Benji got attacked, he was bleeding out and everything. So I told my sister to take him to the doctor, the emergency room. So my sister, Tessina, she took him to the emergency room. When they got to the emergency room, they was waiting. My mom went to Tamika because she lived right next door to us, and my mom told her that she has to, her dog bit Benji. So she was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. She told my mom she's going to pay for everything. So when my sister got to the doctor, the hospital, the dog hospital, they said he won't be able to be seen until we get paid, which the bill was, I think, $894, if I'm not mistaken. And they say they need the money before they treat him. We called Tamika. Well, my mom called Tamika, and she said, she told her the amount the bill was. Tamika was like, oh, she don't have that money right now. The doctor, my sister was at the doctor, so my sister, she put the phone on speaker, and the doctor spoke to Tamika and told her, because my mom had the phone on three-way. She spoke to Tamika and the doctor told her that we can't see the dog until we receive a payment. The doctor explained to them that they don't do payment plans. The other options would be applying for a loan. And so my mom tried to apply for the loan at first, and it didn't get approved. So I told my mom that she has to asked Tamika to apply for the loan because her dog bit Benji. So Tamika tried to apply for the loan. She said she wasn't approved because she has student loans, so she wasn't approved. So because they've been at the doctor they was at the doctor from 4 to 7.
Ugh.
From 4
you
to
would think that at some point the doctor would just say that poor dog is in pain. All right, but what happened though? Who then paid for the doctor bill for the dog to be seen?
So what happened was I got off work, and as soon as I got off work, I went to the doctor. Once I got there, they told me that the only thing they will do right now is if we pay half and then pay the other half the next day. Because the doctor was trying to...
Is that what you did?
Yeah, so I called Tamika, and I told Tamika, well, if you pay half now, they'll see him. So she sent me $465 on Cash App.
Okay.
Then I paid the amount. I sent her a picture of the bill, so she'll have the receipt. That was that. They treated Benji. They wrapped his mouth in a tape, and they also...
What did they end up doing to Benji?
Oh, they did his X-ray. They put the bandage on his mouth because his jaw was fractured because her dog bit Benji, and they also give me medication. So they had like a lot of medication that I had to like.
What kind of a dog is Benji?
Day. He's a mini golden doodle.
And what kind of a dog do you have, Ms. Klein?
I have a Pitbull.
Of course you do. What happened? Were you, I know she wasn't there. Were you there, Ms. Klein? Neither one of you.
I wasn't.
What, according to you, what happened?
Okay, I was in the house. My kids walk my dog every day at the same time at 3:30.
How old are your kids?
17 and 10. We never had an issue before with them walking the dog. From my understanding, when they were coming back up the walkway with the dog, my son tripped.
Just so I understand, this is a walkway to an apartment building?
Into a complex.
Into a complex. And you two are neighbors in that complex?
Yes.
Okay, so go on, Ms. Klein.
So, from my understanding, like I said, when my kids came running upstairs and said that, my son had tripped and dropped the leash.
Which son?
At the same time, my son is 10-year-old. He had tripped and dropped the leash as they were coming back into the house. Ashley's sister was outside in the courtyard with her dog making TikTok videos. My kids came running in the house with the dog and told me that my son tripped and the dog took off.
Yeah, I think the dog took off and that's why your son tripped, but probably because the dog took off after her dog, right?
Well, yes. No, they, that I don't know. They were coming up the walkway, and from my understanding, the dog was in the courtyard running around.
Can I say something? So Tessina was outside before her kids was outside. So they wasn't outside walking the dog. They was coming outside their building. That's what it was. They wasn't.
Well, I don't know. You actually have a video of what happened, right?
Yes, I have a video.
Because your sister was making TikTok videos.
Yes, because she was playing with the dog. And this is not the first time.
Okay, but where was your sister making TikTok videos?
She was making the videos right in front of our building.
When you say our building, it's not your building, it's not your property, it's the communal building. And your dog was off leash too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's see what happens. Oh, what a cute dog. Oh, poor Benji. Did you see what happened in that video? Your dog runs into the path of the approaching Pitbull because your dog's off a leash too. And the Pitbull's clearly off a leash. Ms. Klein, what's your position?
My position is I paid. Only thing I had asked Ashley and her mom was for the bills. That night that it happened, her mom came upstairs and said that they were taking the dog to the vet in the morning. I said, okay, no problem. Let me know what happens. Bring me the bills and we could go from there. After that conversation, they continued to call my phone throughout the night and saying that I had to apply for these loans so the dog could be seen. I said, well, I can't afford. I was not even that I can't afford. I said, okay, send me the link. That's when the veterinarian sent my phone the link to apply for the loan for this dog to be seen. In the process, I'm calling around, making phone calls to at least get up some money so I can give her because they called and said that they weren't doing nothing for the dog. They wasn't treating the dog. I said, okay, well, give me a minute. Let me see if I could reach out and receive some type of money so I could give you something so the dog can be treated. I came up with $465. I automatically cashed out her the $465. She said, okay, no problem. Then the next morning, I get the phone call that she took the dog to a different vet, I guess a specialist, and they said that Benji didn't need surgery, that there wasn't nothing wrong with the dog's jaw, that it just was a puncture wound, and I guess that bill was $175. So she sent me the bill after she paid it through text message. I said, okay, well, I need the physical bills. The first screenshot
didn't she text you the bills? Didn't you see the bills already?
No. When the first night that the dog was seen, she sent me an estimated bill.
Why didn't you just text her the bill, Ms. Ray?
I texted her the bill. When I was taking Benji to the doctor, they was calling me, asking me for me to pay the remaining balance because they don't do payment plans. They don't.
Can you listen to my question? Did you ever get a bill from the doctor for the other $440?
Yes. After
when did you get the bill from the doctor for the other $440?
I paid it like 2 weeks ago, so that's when I
did you submit that into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second and don't talk, please.
Okay.
Here's the bill.
Yes.
It's $894.52. So is the amount you paid the $462.52, Ms. Klein?
No, I sent her $465.
Gotcha.
That night, she only gave them the $430.
I got that. All right. So where is the future care, the $1,395.48 of future care? How are you coming up with that figure, and what proof do you have of that?
So that one, because he has to keep going to the vet to get his mouth checked because this happened recently, they told me that they wasn't able to see what if he needed surgery or not until after they take off the bandages off his mouth.
Okay, but why did you sue so fast if you don't know what your damages are yet? Because it's
told
speculative.
me to go to court.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the nasty text. Let me understand these texts. I see that. So she tells you to go to court and you say much obliged. Let's see.
That's why I went to court, because I wasn't going to go to court.
Hi, good morning. Are you paying the $640 today? And also Benji has his doctor appointment next week. Good morning. You have not produced the medical bills in my hand. My mom says she gave you the first 2 bills for the remaining payment. It's still not paid yet. Once you send the money, I will pay it and give you that bill. And your answer is call a lawyer. Why would your answer be that when it's your neighbor and you're trying to come to a resolution?
They are calling my phone all during the day. I work from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6:30 in the afternoon. I had to put conferences on hold because they were calling me during the middle of my conference. I would text
No, you don't.
her
You could just ignore the call in the middle of your conference. And she says, okay, love, see you in court. And we also have a video of your dog attacking my dog. And you ask, quick question, what happened to you paying the bill? And the answer is ask your questions in court. Yeah, this is what we call the anatomy of a lawsuit. This is the very moment when litigation is born, is conceived. This is the conception. When you tell someone whose little dog has been bit by your pit bull, go call a lawyer, they're gonna go to court. And then we're gonna find ourselves here, right? Instead, what should be happening is you two neighbors should be working together to find a resolution that fits everybody's situation. You're telling her to go get a lawyer. What do you think she's going to do? She just ran to court and filed a lawsuit against you. She took your advice. Now, you, Ms. Ray, what evidence do you have that there is $1,395.48 worth of bills in future care? Do you have anything from a doctor saying that's what it's going to cost? No, because you precipitously ran to court when your neighbor said that. Instead of waiting for Benji's care to be done and figuring out whether or not Benji's going to need surgery or not need surgery, you ran to court with just 2 things in front of you, $894.52 and $175 of a second hospital visit. So here's what I am going to do. I have a bill for $894.52, a bill for $175. That makes $1,069.52. I find that you are each responsible for half of Benji's bills because both of your dogs were off leash, not just the pit bull. Your sister was taping the dog running around in a communal area with no fence, and that makes her her, meaning the person who you entrusted with your dog, half responsible. That makes your side half responsible. So I find that each of you so far for Benji's care are responsible for $534.76. $465 has already been paid. That means that at this point, the defendant owes the plaintiff an additional $69.76. Regarding Benji's future care, I am dismissing that without prejudice for you to raise it again when Benji's future care is actually expended, when we actually know what it is. Because right now we don't know if it's surgery, we don't know if it's just a few bandage changes. I can't just guesstimate what that's going to be and order her to pay it. So as far as that part is concerned, I am doing you the favor of dismissing it without prejudice for you to be able to bring it up in the future again, once you know what those bills are. That's how I'm handling the case. And as we sit here, I want you all to know that I find that both sides are responsible for 50% of Benji's bills because both dogs were off leash. Everybody get it? Everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you're not allowed to have your dog off leash either. That's partially why this happened. If your dog had been on a leash, then this wouldn't have happened because your sister would have seen the dog and picked the dog up.
Right.
You know, we don't punish the dogs. You understand that, right? We punish the behavior of the humans who are in charge of the dogs. That's what we do. All right. $69.76, verdict for the plaintiff, dismissing without prejudice future care. If additional bills come up, you have the ability to go to court and sue for half of those. All right, because my ruling on the issue of culpability, that it's 50-50, that stands. Okay, good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So, in a surprise to the plaintiff, I am sure she is responsible for half the cost of Benji's care at the vet. So, in any event, the defendant now has to give her $69. Let's see what Ms. Klein feels about that. Ms. Klein, you have to give her $69. But also, suppose Benji needs more care, surgery, or something else. Will you contribute to that? You'll be responsible for half of that as well, right?
Yes, I will. I have no issues with doing that at all.
Well, that's the judge's verdict, so you will abide by that. Okay, good luck. Good for you. Keep your dog on a leash, especially a Pitbull. Ms. Ray, what are you thinking about right now? What's your reaction to the judge's verdict?
Once he go back to the doctor to get his surgery, I will be bringing her back to court. And she needs to keep her dog on the leash because she has a vicious dog. And this is not the first attack.
All right. Well, listen, unfortunately, you both have to keep your dogs on a leash. Hate to see a video like we saw where Benji was about to be attacked. That's scary stuff. Right. By the way, how is Benji right now? How's he doing?
He's okay. He's still healing.
He's healing? But is he going to be okay, you think?
Yes, I just have to keep bringing him to the doctor so that they can check his jaw out.
All right. You take care of it, okay?
Okay, Doug. So this is a case involving the leash law. And when you don't have your dog on a leash and there is a dog fight, you are going to be responsible. The question is the other person too. There are two ways that other person can be responsible. One is if they don't have control of the dog, if the leash is too long and they're just letting it fly around. The second, obviously, is if they don't have their dog on a leash. That's the case here. Both of them were letting their dogs go without being on leashes. Both violated the leash law. Both are negligent. They're equally negligent. And that's why you award the person with the damages only 50%. And if both have damages, each get 50% of their own loss.
More and more adoption records are being opened for adoptees to find their birth parents. I had my two beautiful daughters via AID, artificial insemination by a donor. My younger daughter has come into contact with many of her half-siblings, but we can get no help from the sperm bank. Is there any legal way to access said records? Wow.
Really, this is going to be governed most likely by contractual relationships. First of all, the sperm donor has a contractual relationship with the service that he worked with that probably says that he gets absolute anonymity, that under no circumstances are they going to reveal it. Then there's probably a contract between the person who received the sperm for the insemination that says you agree you will never
be
try to find out who it was, and if you do, you owe us $20,000, you owe us all the money, you forfeit all of that, and who knows what else. And we reserve the right to seek injunctive relief from a court to keep you from finding out, et cetera, because they're going to go out of business if people want to be anonymous.
Exactly.
So people want to be anonymous. Now, it used to be that everyone was anonymous. Now, I think something like half of the donation services in the country will reveal by contract or have agreements with their donors that it's becoming more common that you can find out.
It's got to still be, though, controlled by whatever contract everyone signs back then.
Sure.
I'm confident it's just like you say, that there's...
Pretty unlikely you're ever going to get a court order that's going to somehow circumvent these contractual relationships.
Yeah.